Hi, Kevin Hillier and Steve Thom here, previewing a big weekend of Western Region Footy League finals. 2 grand finals and a prelim final. It's bigger than Ben Hur.
You don't get much bigger than that. What a great weekend for the Western Region Football League. As you mentioned, Divi 2, Divi 3 grand finals, the big preliminary final in Division 1. A lot of the reserves grand finals we played, Divi 2, Divi 3, under 18s. It's big, it's huge.
All right, let's get stuck into it. Alban, Vale and Braidwood. This will be a biggie. It's on Saturday, of course, at Hogan's Road Reserve. You've been on Braidwood, but Alban Vale have just kept getting the job done.
They do, Alban Vale. They flexed their muscles a couple of weeks ago in that first final when they met these two sides. Their physical presence worried Braidwood. Yep. Fact is, a lot of the Braidwood players from round 18, they copped a few bruising hip and shoulders, and I think it concerned them a little bit by all reports. They didn't get their head over the football as much as expected in that first final. Last weekend, the great win against Sanctuary Lakes in a preliminary final gives Braidwood that opportunity to say, okay, a grand final, don't matter how sore I get, don't matter what happens, my head's over the football. We've got the ability down at Braidwood, we've got the goal kickers, we've got the spread, we've got the big key players and a couple of big ruckmen inside bottom. Sharenko, Levi Wallace in the centre, very good Piercy up forward. You know, whether he's held young Milisev Kutajar has to stand up, have to stand up. Not one Braidwood player can afford to just say, okay, I'll go through the motions. They have to lift another notch because Alban Vale, through the Seriani boys, the Borgs, Formosa, Jamie Brook, we keep going, Henderson, they've got a lot of players that have been playing together for a long time now, and they will be just desperate to win this grand final together. They've had a few grand final appearances, a lot of finals, I think 15 or 16 in a row finals appearances going back 4 or 5 years ago, where they just didn't get a grand final, didn't win a premiership. They'll be desperate as hell to win it. Saying that, Kev, if you want a tip, I'm going to go with Braidwood. Going to go with Braidwood if they can show the courage to get their head over the football and wear a couple of big heavy bruises.
I'm on the Alban Vale bandwagon. Don't worry about that. Division 2 with the grand final, Parkside and West Footscray. Parkside have been terrific all year. West Footscray have had a couple of little bumps along the road, but these are two sides in really good form coming together at the right time.
I think a few little shivers would have gone down the spine of the Parkside staff and coaches and players when they found out Hawthorn were playing on the Friday night in the final this week, which means Adam Uze will be available, will be playing in a grand final for West Footscray. Buckton is another one. His physical presence. This young fella has grown in maturity as a footballer and as a person over the last couple of years. And I reckon
the grand final last year was the turning point for him.
I think so too. He showed, in that winning Glen Orden grand final, he showed what he can do. He's not just there for his physical presence. He can play the game as well, young Buckton. And once again, sometimes opposition around him just take a slight step backwards because he is pretty physical and he presents himself well, but he does it in such a smart way now, and that's a good thing about it. So he's going to be standing out. Big Kennedy in the ruck, it's going to be hard to match on. Probably the height factor is going to go towards West Footscray. There's no doubt about that. They've got a couple of bigs. Parkside are an evenly spread height-wise. They've got no big 6'5" ruckman, but what they've got Parkside is the ability to win the football, to win the hard football. Their gang tackling, their pressure acts has been up again over the last couple of weeks. We know when Parkside are on song, the 2-3 gang tackles that they apply it shows that they're in red hot form. They've got the ability to Parkside, the class. It's not just the physical part, the class that they've got. Barbuto off that halfback midfield. They've got the key forwards in Grigg, in Mo Cartable, Kelly up there, Shaw off another halfback flank, Muratore. The leadership that he shows is outstanding for this Parkside team. Darcy McMahon, Matty Pearce. Now, Matty Pearce, we talk about the coach, Nathan Jawergan, be absolutely desperate to want to win this one. Matty Pearce will as well. This could be his last game of football he's played. He's had a very colourful career, been on Williamstown's list, Port Melbourne, I think, runner at Carlton at the time and coaching roles now. He will be another one for Parkside that is just absolutely desperate to bring this premiership home for them on Sunday afternoon. I can't go against Parkside. I reckon this is going to go right down to the wire, though. It's going to be close. It won't be a Parkside dominant grand final. West Footscray, pretty determined. Trevor Davies, they've done a fantastic job down there at West Footscray, Kev. But Parkside, they will not let this one slip.
Yep. Good luck to both teams. I think it might be Parkside too. And the prelim final in Division 1 is a beauty. Spotswood and Werribee districts. Copped a bit of a battering, Spotswood on the weekend. Werribee districts, good winners with a really good last quarter against Toppers Crossing. Evenly matched teams, these two.
They are evenly matched. Bordy will be back in for Spotswood. Makes a big difference. Now, Spotswood, obviously, I'm not saying played their cards against Werribee a couple of times in the last month when they've played each other, but we know they're going to stretch them for height up forward. We know Boyd, Posavina, Cloak will be down there, Big Bihar, whether he starts in the ruck or starts forward. They're going to try and stretch that area. and they're going to they can be dominant in that area if they can get the ball down to them. There's a few. My concerns about Spotswood at the moment, they look flat, Kev. They look flat. In the third quarter, we go back a few weeks, but it's a final series, and these things stick in your mind. The third quarter against Werribee a few weeks ago, they looked flat for 3 quarters of the game against Deer Park last week. I'm saying Deer Park were dominant, no doubt, they're outstanding, but Spotswood just didn't fire a shot. They need the players, the Dorwoods, to stand up again. He had a quiet one last week. Elliott, they need to find that other avenue into goal, where they do stretch the height factor of the Werribee Districts team, but they need to find some midfield goal kickers as well, Spotswood, because I just think that it might not work this time, where they stretch him up forward for height. So they need Tommy Langlands to get his hands on the football and kick a couple of goals, 1 or 2 goals. Sam Myers, I still want to see this kid. I'd love to see more across that midfield and going forward, because I think he's got that explosive pace, and he takes that bit of pressure off Ricky Newton, who's had a very good last 4 or 5 weeks of football. They can kick goals, but just through that midfield a little bit more. Will Langlands needs to stand up a little bit more, and they need to, as I say, have that spread of goal kickers throughout the game. Werribee Districts, they're ready to go. I reckon they feel in their own mind that they've got Spotswood, and saying the scoreline's been Spotswood the last couple of games, but I just get the feeling Matty Dean had an outstanding game last week. Molavas, who Callard, no doubt, once again, this card's been shown. Callard will probably go to Molavas again. Brilliant job a couple of weeks ago, but if Molavas gets loose, Harrington gets loose, there's a goal kickers for the Werribee District team. Panay, hopefully he's right, he's 100% fit, I'm sure, then come back into that lineup. They had a couple of different goal kickers last week, and once again, their spread of goal kickers. Turner kicked a couple, also one of the best on grounds last week, so they've got a couple of midfield goal kickers that can kick goals. Morrow was fantastic. They're going to need all these guys to stand up. And one of the big keys and X factor for me for this game is Big Clang. The ruckman for Werribee Districts, this kid is sensational. And he's a workhorse. He's still so raw in his football. He's going to have a huge job against, he probably might get a 15, 20-minute break throughout the game, but he can go forward as well. And it's something, I know, Spotty, you've got a couple of tools to match up a big fella like that back there. But through that centre and the mobility of Clang, I don't know. Bordy's, not super fast. He reads a play so well. He's a brilliant footballer. Big Bihar's pretty slow and mobile once again, but Kalang can get around the ground and do some damage that way, and he can bring his smaller players into the game. And for me, that is going to be one of the keys in the game. Kev, I really think Spotty are flat. I really think Spotty are flat.
Go on.
I really, this is, if they win this one, they're playing.
You call them gone. You're saying they're gone.
They'll be playing 8 grand finals in a row. I don't think they're going to get there. No, I think Werribee Districts will take that away from them, and I think Spotty have just a little bit of soul searching been done down at Spotty.
All right, on that note, that's it. Good luck to all the teams in the grand finals and the prelim final, and get out and see some local footy.